Have you ever felt like your mind is a browser with 100 tabs open? And you don't know where the music is coming from? You try to sleep, but the thoughts scream. You try to work, but the worries flood in. You are physically here, but mentally, you are miles away, lost in a past you cannot change or a future you cannot predict. This was the life of Elias, a young man of 24, who had everything a man could want, yet possessed nothing, because he could not enjoy a single second of his life. His mind was a prison. And if you are listening to this, perhaps you have felt like Elias too. But what if I told you the secret to silencing that noise isn't about fighting it? What if the secret lies in a single cup of water? Elias lived in a bustling city where silence was a luxury nobody could afford. His anxiety was a constant hum, a vibration under his skin that never stopped. He was tired, not physically, but deep in his soul. One day, amidst the cacophony of the market, he overheard a rumor. Travelers spoke of an old sage living atop the Mist Peak, a mountain so high it seemed to touch the stars. They said this man wasn't a monk, but a former scholar from the city who had cracked the code of the human mind. He had traded status for stillness. Driven by desperation, Elias packed a small bag. "I don't want success," he whispered to himself. "I just want silence." The journey was brutal. The air grew thin. The wind howled like the voices in his head. But after 3 days of climbing, the noise of the world faded, replaced by the rustling of pine trees. He found the sage sitting on a wooden porch, looking at a single falling leaf with the intensity of someone watching a miracle. Elias collapsed at his feet. Breathless. "Master," Elias gasped, "please, you must help me. My mind, it's a storm. I worry about mistakes I made 5 years ago. I fear catastrophes that haven't happened yet. I am everywhere except here. How do I make it stop?" The sage didn't answer immediately. He didn't offer a pill or a complex philosophy. Instead, he smiled, a smile that didn't just move his lips but seemed to light up his eyes. "You seek peace?" the sage asked, his voice like grinding stones. "Then you must prove you can handle it." The sage led Elias to a small fountain. He took a ceramic cup and filled it with water. Not just full, but full to the absolute brim. The water formed a fragile dome over the top. One tiny tremor, one breath, and it would spill. He handed the cup to Elias. "Here is your task," the sage said. "You must walk down to the village square at the base of this hill. Circle the market, and return to me. But listen closely. If you spill a single drop, just one drop, you will not find the answer you seek today." Elias looked at the cup. His hands trembled. The village market? It was chaotic. It was loud. "Go," the sage commanded. Elias began his walk. His entire universe shrank down to the rim of that cup. Step by step, he entered the village. The assault on his senses was immediate. To his left, merchants were screaming prices, fighting for customers. "Don't look," Elias told himself. "Watch the water." To his right, a group of drunkards laughed and jeered at him, mocking his slow pace. "Look at the fool walking like a statue," they shouted. The old Elias would have felt anger. He would have snapped back. But now, he couldn't afford anger. Anger would make his hand shake. Focus. He breathed. Just the water. A stray dog barked viciously at his heels. A carriage nearly brushed his shoulder. The smell of roasting meat tempted his hunger. The fear of failure tempted his anxiety. But Elias became a ghost to the world. He was no longer Elias the anxious. He was simply the carrier of the cup. His mind, usually a hurricane, became a laser beam. There was no past. There was no future. There was only the water. And the next step. Hours seemed to pass, though it was only minutes. Elias trudged back up the hill. His muscles ached, but the cup was still full. He placed it gently on the table before the sage. Not a drop was missing. "I did it," Elias exhaled, a strange sensation washing over him. It wasn't exhaustion. It was clarity. The sage nodded. "Tell me, Elias, when you were walking through the market, did you see the drunkards mocking you?" Elias blinked. I think I heard them. But I didn't see them." "Did you see the beautiful women dancing? Did you see the merchants fighting? Did you worry about your job back in the city?" "No," Elias realized. "I didn't see anything. I didn't worry about anything. I was too focused on the cup." The sage placed a hand on Elias's shoulder. "That, my boy, is the secret. The market is your life. The noise, the insults, the distractions, the worries, they will always be there. You cannot stop the market from being loud. But the reason you were miserable before was that you were engaging with every shout. Every bark, every possibility. You suffered because your focus was scattered. When you held the cup, you had a purpose. You had an anchor. You didn't suppress the noise. You simply gave it no attention because your attention was needed here. Right now, peace is not the absence of chaos. Elias, peace is the presence of focus. Elias walked back down the mountain that day. The world was still loud. The problems were still there. But he carried an imaginary cup in his mind. Whenever anxiety tried to pull him into the past or future, he remembered the water. He returned to the present. And for the first time in his life, the storm was over. What about you? What is the cup you can focus on today to ignore the noise? Is it your breath, your work, the person sitting in front of you? If this story brought a moment of calm to your day, please hit the like button. It helps this message reach others who are struggling in the storm. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next journey into wisdom. Remember, keep your eyes on the cup, and the noise will fade away. Stay focused, my friends.